let's start it. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
And this is the first time for me to be a Toastmaster. This is my debut. So please start the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Then let me introduce myself. Probably we all know who I am. My name is Carrie. And then again, this is the first time to be Toastmaster. Diego encouraged me to do finally, and then finally I said yes. And it's nothing really hard, but just have to be ready sometimes. I sometimes need a time. But anyway, I'm happy to do this tonight. And so let's start. Tonight we're going to have 3 sections. First, the prepared speeches. We have 2 prepared speeches, and then do we have a Maurice?
Yeah, I don't see him.
I don't see. So we have reserved speaker who is David. Would you like to do?
Sure.
If you're not ready,
I can do it. If Maurice is, I guess Maurice hasn't shown up, so I can do it.
Okay. All right. And we have another reserved speaker. I'm sorry, prepared speaker, Peter. And then second portion is table topic. This is exciting. And then we also have a table topic, Master David. And then final portion is evaluation. And this is what we're going to do tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask each person who has won the following roles. Okay, so first timer, Sean. Do we have Sean? Actually, I saw him trying to.
Hey,
Sean, there? Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
I will be the timer tonight, and we have 2 prepared speakers, I think. We have 2.
Yes.
Okay, so for the prepared speeches, the time limit is 5 minutes to 7 minutes. The green egg will be 5 minutes. The yellow egg will be 6 minutes, and the red egg will be 7. And everybody knows that. Stop. And also the table topics: 1 minute green, 1.5 minute yellow, 2 minutes red, and evaluations I think is 2, 2.5, 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
I think it's great. Thank you.
Hey.
The next Mr. Kyler. Maurice, Simon.
Yeah, 2, 3.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Kyler Gates. I will be the general evaluator and the odd counter this evening. My role as general evaluator will be to call on the other roles at the end of the meeting and to evaluate how the meeting went as a whole. And then my role as odd counter will be to pay attention to everyone's speeches and listen for filler words or anything that is distracting from speaking or any verbal pauses, and to mark those down and keep track of those so we can learn to let go of those words. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, grammar Majid, and please go ahead, include in today's word.
Hello, everybody. My name is Majid. How are y'all? I will be the grammarian for this evening, and the word for tonight is louche. L-O-U-C-H-E. Louche. Let me see if I could have, let's say, for appropriate. louche, it says. Okay, and it's the close meaning is not reputable or not decent. Not reputable or not decent, louche. For example, his business rivals include the louche businessman. So that businessman is louche, not decent, or not. He does not have a good reputation in business. Louche, Louche, louche. And as a grammarian, I'll be looking for inappropriate use of English language, and I'll take a note. And after the meeting, I'll share it with the team. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Majid. Next, General Evaluator Kyler, please.
Hello, my name is Kyler, and I will be the general evaluator for this evening. I will evaluate how the meeting as a whole went, and I will call on the various roles to give their reports at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyler. And the last is Table Topic Master David.
Hi, I'm David, and I will be doing the table topics for this evening. And you won't want to say like I just did. But for the table topics, I'll have a list of different subjects that you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to discuss and give a little impromptu speech on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we're going to the first portion of this meeting, which is prepare speech. So start with the prepare speech. Do we have a Maurice? I don't think so.
Maurice is here.
Here?
Yeah, he's logged on.
Hey.
So he's here now?
Yes.
Maurice, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay. So are you ready to make a speech?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. So first speech. Maurice, the title is My Journey as a Protege.
Yes, thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I'm going to talk about my journey as a protege in the mentor-protege relationship. I'm going to talk about mentoring and mentoring versus coaching. When I first joined the club as a Toastmaster, I was given a mentor. And incidentally, I forgot who my mentor was. I'm thinking it was narrowed down to maybe Lawrence and a couple others, but I forgot exactly who my mentor was. But anyway, as a protege, the mentor was assigned as a guide to lead by example to help me to become a better speaker. And I'll get into the difference between a mentor and a coach, because there is a difference. Anyways, when I first joined the club, at the time, the first level, so to speak, of achievement was called the Competent Communicator Award. So at the time, there was no Pathways program. In order to achieve the CC Award or the Competent Communicator Award, you had to finish a book that had 10 speeches, and each of the 10 speeches was just a step to improve on how you speak. Of course, the first one, just like in the Pathways program, was the icebreaker. And then another one, you would learn other aspects of speaking up until you finish these first 10 speeches. And as a new member of the Toastmasters Club, it was kind of, for lack of a better term, overwhelming, because you had to finish the 10 speeches in order to achieve this Competent Communicator Award. But to make my journey a lot easier, my mentor gave me tips on how to present my speech, how to be less nervous, how to make eye contact with my audience, how to make these little adjustments to make my speech better, to make me perform better my speech, how to make myself look less nervous in my speech if I was nervous at all. Now, the difference between a mentor and a coach is that a coach will help a person to achieve a goal or develop a skill. Let's say this coach will teach you how to raise your voice a little bit more. The coach is focused more on specific traits of a speech to help you to perform those little skills in the short term. A mentor is there for the longer term, and the mentor will help you to improve in more subtle ways and in a less judgmental way as opposed to a coach. Because if you perform a skill wrong, the coach will say, well, you don't do it this way, you do it this way. The mentor will give you words of encouragement to help you improve. The mentor is more personal than a coach. The coach is focused on skill-specific involvement, while the mentor is involved more personally and for a longer period of time than a coach. So once again, the coach is focused on coaching you on the development of a single skill, while a mentor will help you focus on long-term goals. And it's less judgmental and it's more personally involved than the coach, in a more personal and less judgmental way. So my journey as a protege was able to help me to better improve my skills as a speaker, because it was more on a long-term basis. And the mentor that I had, I was able to pattern some of my motions after the mentor, when that mentor was able to give a speech, I would follow some of those motions from that mentor and take on some of his traits, as opposed to a coach, who would say, you do it this way, or you do it this way. So my role as a protege helped me to develop to be a better Toastmaster. relinquish the lectern back to the Toastmaster.
Hey, you're on mute. We can't hear you, Kauri.
I forgot it was mute. Okay, let me start again. Okay, thank you, Maurice. It was really good. Especially, it was a great chance to think about the differences between mentor and coach and protege, because English is my second language and a lot of different terms meaning the same, but I'm sure there is a differences. And then so based on your discussion, it's really clear differences. Thank you so much. Okay, move on to the next. Second prepared speech. Speaker is Peter. Title is Compared Pandemic versus Financial Recession. Sounds interesting. Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmasters. This is my second icebreaker, and I am fortunate to have your time and attention. For those who have not met me, my name is Peter So. My interest in Toastmasters comes from my ambition to become a more comfortable public speaker, specifically to have more fun delivering a message versus just focusing on the delivery and trying to get out as soon as possible. My goals are to speak publicly as if I was talking to a friend. This probably means to reduce anxiety and be less inhibited. It would be a nice change to embrace public speaking to educate or intellectually stimulate those who are listening. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you, Diego, for keeping me updated by email. Thank you, Luke, for checking in on me. I'm a physician in training and have been on the front lines during this coronavirus pandemic. 10 to 13 years ago, I was a market maker on the exchange floor buying and selling commodities during the financial crisis. For those not familiar with the financial crisis, it was the time when several banks failed and there was a housing crisis leading to massive job losses and decreased economic well-being. Interestingly, the perspective I had for both crises was from the inner workings or the front line. I like to talk about what I'm seeing now versus then and the similarities and differences. In the financial crisis, the setup was an overzealous housing market that collapsed after subprime mortgages depreciated and triggered massive losses to banks, which eventually eroded consumer and business confidence. The process occurred over about 2 to 3 years, but still had persistent effects beyond the end of the recession, formally in 2009. People's retirement accounts were reduced, adversely affected, jobs were lost, and unemployment hit 10%. Louche risk takers, such as investment banks, were too big to fail and saved by the federal government. The middle class was affected the most by this event. I remember around 2010 to 12 thinking about that it would take probably until 21 to 22 for our economy to be back at good employment. And at the same time, I felt that as the stock market increased over the last 10 years, society was not improving economically at the same rate on a material level. I think the millennial generation, those who were born from 81 to 96, has been hit the hardest by both of these crises. 10 years later, unemployment reached a low in late 2019, and the stock market was at record highs, more than tripling, or about a 200% return from its 2009 lows. Individuals with high net worth grew wealthier as the market increased, but many others did not benefit from this. Overall, wages increased by about 4% adjusted for inflation for the age groups of 25 to 54. This is pretty much the bulk of our peak work productivity years. The situation now is different because everyone is affected and we are directly dealing with people's health. Due to the shutdowns recently, a greater majority of businesses are also affected. Just like in 2009, the government is creating stimulus packages worth trillions of dollars in debt to prevent a worsening collapse of the economy. Direct cash payments to taxpayers and financial assistance for small businesses is a similar play from the financial crisis. What's different from before is that we have widespread adoption of smartphones, so information is spread much faster. Due to the novel nature of this virus, we cannot predict when the disease will be under control, especially without a proven vaccine or therapy. Also underlying the COVID-19 pandemic is significant debt in home mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. The lack of economic activity and income could push us borrowing into a wave of defaults. If we take an optimistic view, we will eventually return to normalcy, but our new normal will not be as prosperous. In fact, due to our inability to lose individual freedoms for the sake of the greater good, we will have a greater fall. We are a resilient nation, but now we are in unprecedented times. We are essentially in war without the economic benefits of war. This is a war against a virus, which is really a war against ourselves. But as the old saying goes, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Every bad thing will come to an end and humans will rise again. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks.
It was interesting because 10 years ago, I do remember the 2008, 2009, 2010, it was economy really bad. And now compared to now, of course, the reason or cause is a different. One is a pandemic, the other is a more housing or something. But I think we should learn from the past or experience. And also I like to, you mentioned that the unemployment, it's hard to say. Unemployment rate. Right. And then let me share I'd like to share this one, but just a few months ago we got the record low in the US. Then just a few weeks ago it's record high again. So it's really, we are really in the hard time, also interesting time. And so it's really good to, it's good to hear your viewpoint too, especially you compared to 10 years ago and then now. That's how I really listen to your speech. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And then let's move on to the next exciting part, table topic. And table topic master, Davey.
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I will be your table topics master for this evening's session. And I have some orange colored cards this time, which have different little questions about life events and things that you may have thought about throughout your life. So each person will have 1 to 2 minutes, preferably, to discuss this. Do I have any volunteers for the first table topics question? I think Abdul looks excited. He's smiling. Would you like to try, Abdul?
Yeah, I can go first. And Sean is also raising his hand, so probably got second one too, Sean.
Okay, Sean can go second and Abdul first. So my first table topics question for you is this. What is a public behavior that you see in others that disappoints or bothers you?
Okay. Hello, everybody. The question being asked is what public behavior that you see in general that that kind of it's not good, or it disappoints me. So I think the general value, I would say general ethics, like when there's a immorality or something to that nature that individually we know it's going on, but to make it a public and to bring it on a public platform or to talk about it is something I really feel could cause a major damage to a society or to an environment or to a place environment where we live. Because once these say any immorality, I don't want to mention anything, but to a once it's brought to a public, or you see that behavior in open speeches or in an open platform, then it desensitizes everyone's thought about it. It says, oh, that's fine because it's been done on that meeting, or it's fine, you can use this abusive word in a meeting between 15 people, and then you started to use that abusive word in a meeting, in a formal meeting. So that could be one. Or in a, say, in a bigger announcement on a news channel or any platform, music platform, using of inappropriate moral values that you try to present, and it desensitizes everybody and it gets common later on. So that's one behavior I want to point out. With that, I'll relinquish the lectern back to Mr. Table Topic Master David.
Thank you, Abdul. I think that's very true. It's easy to kind of fall on the bandwagon if other people start doing something that's just not right, but hey, other people are doing it, so why don't I? So that was a very good response. Thank you, Abdul. And I believe we have Sean for our next table topic question. So you ready, Sean?
Yeah, I'm gonna time myself.
Okay, great.
Try to.
Okay, for the next question, what is something you see in the world today that strengthens your faith in humanity?
The question is, what is something I see in the world that strengthens my faith in humanity? And I would say that during this time, I've really seen a lot of heartwarming stories of people stepping up, and the doctors and nurses especially have just kind of been very inspiring to me, that they're able to just, I mean, basically, you know, risk their health, risk their lives in some cases to go, especially in the hard hit areas in New York and everything. That's just the giving spirit and the self-sacrifice, putting others before yourself, is really definitely something inspires me about humanity. I think that was the question you're asking. But just this time overall has definitely restored a lot of my have been inspired, and with everything going on, that there is a lot of bad, and then there, you know, but at the same time I see a lot of great things happening, and people really treating each other kindly. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Sean. I think that's a very appropriate topic, talking about what's going on in the world today, and our nurses and doctors that are on the front lines. It really gives me some faith in humanity as well. Do we, that was only two. Do we have time for one more before we move on? Why don't we just do one more and then we'll call it, because I know we started late. Do we have another volunteer? Come on, somebody volunteer. Let's see. Cheyenne, Kyler just pointed at you. Okay. You'll have to unmute.
Okay.
Okay.
Tyler.
Thank you very much for volunteering, Cheyenne.
You're welcome.
Okay, here's your question. What do you think people waste too much time on worrying about?
All right. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. I have been asked, what do I feel people spend too much time worrying about? I feel like this is not a fair question for myself, because I am one to worry about everything. And I am one to get anxiety about things and situations that have not happened, that are very unlikely to happen. But if it's even a slight possibility, I will probably think about it and worry about it happening. But if I had to say one thing that the general public, or one thing I've noticed in behaviors of other people, one thing that I feel people worry too much about is they'll worry more about jobs, money, possessions over quality time with loved ones, traveling, memories, and things that last longer than material things that will in the end go away. So, not to say those people are louche, but for me in my life, I try to make people a priority over belongings and gaining things. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Cheyenne. I thought that was very appropriate as well. I'm a world-class worrier. I can worry about anything. I could teach a class in it. Maybe I will. That could be a second career. But I think I did hear one time they interviewed people like in nursing homes that were dying and asked what their one regret or their regrets were in life. And the biggest thing they said is that I worried too much about my job, the things like that, and didn't spend enough time with my family. So, which I think is exactly what you just said. So I think you're wise beyond your years. And I think we're probably out of time now, so I will turn the lecture back over to Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you so much, Davey, and all the volunteers. I appreciate it, and it was really fun topics. Okay, we don't have much time, so let's go to the next portion. Evaluation. And tonight, General Evaluator Kyler.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. My name is Kyler Gates, and I'll be the General Evaluator for this evening. First, I'm going to start off by calling up my team of other evaluators. Let's see, I think I'm going to start with the timer. So I'll call on Sean to give us the timers report.
Do the evaluations first so they can.
That's right. Okay, we'll start with evaluation of the first speech. That would be Cheyenne.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Cheyenne, and I evaluated Maurice's speech. Let me get my notes here, which was tell a time that you were member should share an aspect of a previous experience as a protege. So some general comments I have. Maurice, your speeches are always very well done and very put together. It is very easy to understand what you're saying, and there's never any confusion of what your message is when you're giving a speech. So I wanted to commend you on that. So for just going into evaluation form for clarity, pretty much every time I give you a 5 because you're very good at that. Vocal variety for this speech, I would say maybe didn't use it as much, but I think that maybe because it's more of a informative speech, so it's kind of hard to do that. Eye contact, not really too fair because we're on the screens, but I think you did a good job. You weren't looking away or looking above. You were looking at us, even though it is limited to what we can do with that. Gestures, I felt like you were using gestures, but I couldn't see I can only see your shoulders moving because the screen was kind of up, but I did see you put your hands up for a couple, so I just assumed you were doing them because I could see your shoulders moving, but I couldn't see all of them. And you always do well with audience awareness and comfort level. I feel like you're always prepared and you're always comfortable speaking in front of an audience. And I gave your speech a 3 for interest. It was very interesting. One thing you may want to work on, the prompt, I think, was to give more of a personal experience. So maybe I misread, but I was expecting kind of more of a story from your own personal experience. So I just said maybe just make it a little more personal. I'm really interested in all of the previous speeches you do, especially when you give like personal experience speeches. So when you said, I think you said you couldn't remember exactly who the mentor was. So I was wondering how you were going to tie in a personal experience with the mentor. So maybe just next time, I think it said it could be from any time. So if there was like another time in your life where you were mentored by someone, that could have helped it just add a little more personal to it, just because we like to get to know our members and stuff. But if you were giving the speech to like someone, like a group you didn't know, that would be awesome. So, and then I just said to challenge yourself more vocal variety. So, but overall you did awesome. I liked the difference between a coach and a mentor. I've never really thought of that, because a coach is, I feel like, is kind of more removed, and a mentor is more personal to you and they're more invested. So I thought that was awesome, and I really liked the explanation of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Cheyenne, for your evaluation. We will now move on to our next evaluator, who is David, and he will be evaluating Peter's speech.
Thank you, Kyler. Hi, everyone, again. And Peter gave a speech on comparing the pandemic we are in with the financial impact that's going on. As far as general comments, I thought Peter excelled at giving a good introduction. He started out by explaining why he's in Toastmasters and what he was looking to accomplish, which is always good. And then how he's qualified with the subject matter, being a physician in training and also being involved in the financial markets back in the previous financial mishaps in a decade ago. I thought you may want to work on doing things on Zoom, which this was your first Toastmasters speech, I believe, using the Zoom format. It's just different. It's challenging. It's a different dynamics. I think you didn't really use gesturing, but it's something you can do. It's just like kind of see where the limits of the camera are and just work with that. So I think working on gesturing would be something to do. And then the vocal clarity was great. You were very understandable, but working on vocal variety would be good as well. Sort of have soft points and hard points when you're trying to emphasize something, perhaps. To challenge yourself, one thing I've been doing which helps is I do a pretend Zoom session with just myself, which is kind of weird, but I record myself, and then I'll look at the recording and see, how I'm using my gesturing and even eye contact. It's like I'm not just always staring right at the camera, but just looking around, just kind of gets it more interesting, perhaps. So I have that on the evaluation. Let's see. As far as the different, the 7 criteria we go over, like I said, clarity was great. Vocal variety could use some work, but it was the clarity is the main thing. Eye contact was, all you can do with Zoom. I thought it was good. Gesturing is something you could work with. Audience awareness was good. You were aware that we were here and what we were about. You seemed fairly comfortable giving the speech. And the interest, it was a very interesting and appropriate topic for this day and age. And I learned a lot listening to you. And I appreciate your work as a physician and hope you go on to do great things. And that's my evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I sent you my email address.
Okay, great.
Thank you for that evaluation, David, and thank you, Peter, for that speech. It was a very fascinating topic. I really liked it, and I can't wait to hear more speeches from you. Let's see, moving on to our, up next we have our timers report. I will call on Sean to give us the timers report.
Thank you, Kyler. The timers report for tonight is we have Maurice, 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Peter, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. And then on the table topics, we have Majid, 1 minute, 53 seconds. Myself was 1:52. Cheyenne was 1 minute, 29 seconds. And then on the evaluation, Cheyenne was 3 minutes and 9 seconds. David, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. That is the timer's report for tonight.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. All right, up next, we will have the grammarian's report. I'll give that over to Majid.
Hi, everyone. Here's the grammarian report for this evening. Maurice, I didn't see any inappropriate usage of English language, but there were some kind of like improve my skills, like you added multiple adjectives to show that. So some instances that you immediately worked on it and corrected in the next sentence, but as an overall sentence, I didn't see any inappropriate use of English language. The next prepared speech from Mr. Saul Peter, I didn't see any inappropriate use of English language. And that word of the day, louche, was used in that speech once. Thanks, Mr. Peter. Going to Toastmaster, Kaori, David for table topics, Sean for timer and prepared speech. For the table topic, I didn't see any inappropriate usage of English language. I don't know if anyone have noted while I was doing my table topic. If so, we could share it. Xian, thanks for using day of the word. She used it once, and that's all I have as a grammarian. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator, Kyler.
Thank you, Majid. I appreciate that. All right, next we'll move on to, I'm doing 2 roles this evening, so I'll start with my role as all counter and then I'll move into my role as the general evaluator. So for my all counters report, we did really good this evening. Everybody stayed under 5. You know, except for me, I probably have already gone over that. I'll be honest, I haven't been counting my own. But starting with Majid, he had 4 filler words. Peter had no filler words. David had 1. Carrie had none. Sean had 1. Maurice had none. I had 3. And then Cheyenne had 2. And that's it for my all counters report. And then for my general evaluation of the meeting, overall, everything went really well. Starting off at the beginning, it was a little bumpy because we were kind of trying to fill some roles that, some people couldn't make it this evening, so we had to fill those roles kind of quickly. But I think we did a good job working together. Even though it stopped us from starting on time, we did a good job of figuring it out pretty quickly. Carrie has done a great job as table topic master. She's been an excellent leader. She's kept everything on track. And overall, I think considering the situation, I think we all did really good for this meeting. All right, and with that, I will turn it back over to Madam Table Topics Master. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyler. Okay, this is all tonight. And like Kyler said, we started almost 10 minutes late, but it's still 7:39, so it's not bad. Do we have an education overview? I don't think so. Do we? No, we don't have that. So I guess that's all for tonight. And back to Maurice, I guess.
Oh, thank you. Does anyone want to fulfill any role for next week? I think we have. Well, let me go to the easy speak, see who the scheduled speakers are. Okay, we have Carrie and Sean scheduled for next week.
Okay.
As far as the prepared speeches.
I could take the role of Table Topics Master next week.
All right. Thank you, Kyler.
I could be awe counter.
All right, David, thank you. Well, for any other role, just if you want to volunteer, just sign into Easy Speak and volunteer for a role.
If there's a general evaluator or a one speech evaluation, I could volunteer for it.
All right. What, general or speech or both?
Whatever is available, yeah. No,
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Okay, if there is nothing else, then
Morris, where can we see the schedule, like for the next month, say? Because we used to have like hard for the prepared speech schedule. Where can we see it? Is it posted somewhere?
well, I have them
For
plugged.
next month. Sorry, go ahead.
I have most of them plugged into Easy Speak already.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
So, and I'll go to the next. I'll go to the following week after next week to see scheduled. And it is Joe, Tate, and myself for the 27th of April. And let me see if we have the speeches filled in for the first Monday in May. Okay, that appears to be open, but I think I did take a picture of the schedule book. So I will look and see what picture, if I took a picture of the month of May, and then I will act accordingly if there was something filled in. But for the next couple weeks, the prepared speeches are covered.
Thank you. Awesome.
And before we close the meeting, and I came in a little late. I came in late also. Did anyone do the pledge for tonight?
Yeah, we did.
Tyler. Okay. I just wanted to fill that in on Easy Speak for tonight.
We were patriotic.
Yes.
I was going to say Carrie led us in that as the Toastmaster.
Oh, that's what you're. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just put that in there. Because I think everything else. Okay, if there is nothing else, we can adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, enjoyed it.
Good night.
Good. See you, all of you.